Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahabushai, Bahashim, Racha Kodash. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Barakatah Racha Kodash, Bahashim, Yahabushai, Bahashim, Racha Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in Achium and Aquathium of the hopeful elect. Shalom. So I want to go into a quick video here entitled, let's see, I have it written down. Let's see, 250 years of America / Babylon the Great. You know, the end is here. So from 1776 into right now, 2026. You know, they have that was the official date, the birth date, pretty much, right, of America, Babylon the Great, and through the and that's prophecy. That's in, I believe, is in Daniel 7 here. It just hit me right now. I had made a video about this, you know, a few years ago, about July 4th is in the Bible. You know, that's the three horns that was plucked up by the little horn. Those three horns was what France, Great Britain, France, and Spain that had first, you know, had their roots up, that took the lands and took the lands over here in the Americas, right? And then that little horn came up out of the 13 colonies from Great Britain, and then did what? They revolted. They had that Boston Tea Party. They didn't want to get taxed anymore without having representation over there in the British Parliament, the government, right? And then they had war with, it was the Spanish American War, the French Revolution, or the French American War, and then also the American Revolutionary War against Britain, right? Up from quoting it precisely, but you can Google it. You know, three different wars that they had over here, the 13 colonies, which was the District of Columbia, and those different, you know, those colonies that was over here that evolved into what the so-called United States of America, right? And the Declaration of Independence in 1776. You know, July 4th, and then that's effectively prophesied in the scriptures. You know, July 4th. You know, Independence Day of America. So from 1776 until now, it's 250 years to the, you know, to the day, right? So, you know, America, and then even throughout history, you know, they've mentioned and said that a kingdom throughout the history of mankind is what, like roughly around 250 years. So based off of the prophecies of the Heavenly Father that he gave about this place, and, you know, just the natural, the duration of a kingdom, of a heathen kingdom, is typically around that time frame, you know, average or whatever. So we'll go ahead and get some precepts here. So we'll go to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 23. It says, "Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth," and that was Rome. It says, "which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces." Now the fourth beast was more dreadful than all the other beasts before it, before ancient Babylon, you know, Nebuchadnezzar, then the Persian Empire, and then the Greek Empire, and then the Roman Empire came from, you know, through an extension of the Greeks, you know, just more Edomites, you know, and they took over and they went to war, and the Romans and the Greeks were fighting, you know, different Edomite tribes, and then the Romans rose up and was stronger and absorbed the Greek, and then that's why it became what, the Greco-Roman Empire. I want to do more research on that. That's a very fascinating thing that had occurred, you know. So the fourth beast rose up, more Edomites, you know, and then they became just like the Medes, the Medo-Persian Empire. The Persians became greater within that union of an empire. Then the Romans, you know, rose up and took over the Greeks, you know, became the stronger of the two in the Greco-Roman Empire, and that's the fourth beast. And they took over the whole known world at that time, the three parts of the earth, Africa, Europe, and Asia landmass at that time. But now they've taken over, the Roman Empire has been revised, right, through America, and the policies and the Senate and Congress, right? And now they took over the fourth part over here in the Americas, so now they have dominion throughout the four corners of the earth. in the last days. The Roman Empire revised. So let's see, verse 24, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and that's the European Union. That's the Treaty of Paris or Treaty of Rome back around in the 1950s. When that fourth beast was wounded to death, but was healed through America, the whore. That whore sitteth upon that beast. Is America, is the Roman Empire revised right here. And another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings. So that's going into let's see. So the scriptures are timeless. So the 3 beasts before it was the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Greeks. And then in these times, the 3 kings that was over here in the Americas was France, Spain, and Great Britain, and subdued them. That's that. What I'm trying to say. That Declaration of Independence here in these days here. And so now verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. You see, that's that blasphemy and pride that the Edomites, so-called white race, have, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. You see, and they wore out the saints over here. The Native Americans, so-called Native American Indians, and the Latinos over here, right? That was the Northern Kingdom that came over, and then about 2,500 years ago. And so that was the Northern Kingdom, and took over the 4th part of the earth, which is the Americas, the Western Hemisphere, and then took over, and then rounded up the Southern Kingdom over there off the west coast of Africa, and brought us over here to the so-called blacks and the Haitians and so-called Haitians and so-called Caribbean islands over there. The Jamaicans, so forth, tribe of Benjamin, Haitians, so-called Haitians, tribe of Levi. The Southern Kingdom got brought over here. And chiefly the tribe of Judah, the head tribe of all the nation of Israel, right? So-called blacks, so-called African Americans, the head tribe was in hardcore bondage and slavery to build America for the KB serpent Edomites. And so that's how they wore us out over here, right? And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. So that's why over here they have that good, I think it's called the Gregorian calendar, where you have every other month is the duration of the month is different days every month, 30 and 31, 30, 31. Then also they had that February 28 days, and then every 4 years is that leap year. So that's how, and then also the change times and laws, the laws of the king, and that's the laws of the king of Babylon, the king of Babylon the Great, America. They always having new laws all the time. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time. So that time and time is going to 2 years. Then the dividing of time is half a year. So that's representing 250 years. So the saints of the Most High, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, are given into the hand of the so-called white man for 250 years over here in hardcore oppression and slavery, from 1776 to 2026, roughly, So based off of the times of the 31 days, have an extra day, like 6 different days out the year, right? And then think about that, 250 years over time, and then adding an extra day for leap year every 4 years. So it's probably more around a year, a couple years more. So Esau has been given plenty of enough time, and that's why all of the end times or prophecies are coming to pass, because his time is up now. So you see, so now we'll go, let's see what else I want to get. Now we'll go to Revelations 12. Okay. Boom. Salakia. Okay, so Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens. And who's in the heavens? The Heavenly Father, the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, his son Yahweh Shai, the angels, right? And then those, that conversation is in heaven, the elect of Israel, and ye that dwell in them, Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Because why destruction? That woe means destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. And you know all of these constricting, confining laws and oppressive statutes and mandates that they're setting. That's oppressing the people because he know he got a short time, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, and that's why, because that's why all of these crazy new changes and everything is going on in society, right? Because he know he got a short time, so he got to transition the old world, quote unquote, of this country, to now this new technocracy, this technology, tyranny, dictatorship, through having that grain of rice to go on your hand or your right hand or your forehead or wherever else you put it, to be able to buy and sell. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. And that sitting in the dust meaning what? Get off your high horse, get off the throne of rulership and sit in the dust, meaning what? You're going to be now at the curse for the serpent. The Most High cursed the serpent man. Said, "Cursed shall thou be, on thy belly, and lick up the dust." I believe, right? So that means he's the most vile. He's the lowest of all nations on earth, and now he's going back to his natural state. From his temporary rulership. Sit down on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. So virgin daughter meaning what? A very delicate, tender, untouched woman. That woman represents America. It's talking about, is parabolically speaking about America that's never been touched by war. No country has ever bombed over here. Everyone think that America is untouchable, but that's going to change here through the prophecies. And we see that, Iran's been kicking America's behind too. If America can't even deal with Iran, how much less will it be able to deal with Iran's big brother, their guard, right? The guardian big brother, Russia. So, daughter of the Chaldeans, because the Chaldeans is about witchcraft and sorcery, through the pharmacy, the medicine, the witchcraft and sorcery with that, and the Hollywood, because those are the small hats that runs Hollywood, and all media entertainment, and music and everything. So that's what's happening right now in real time, being exposed. Okay, because they have everything in the earth, but they still don't have everything, because they know that it's all temporary and it's all a rotten, ill-gotten gains. So we'll go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse, I think 32, I think that was. Yeah, verse 32. Miserable are the cities which thy children served, and we're serving our enemies over here right now, right? And miserable is she that received thy sons. So that's bad with the whore America, chiefly, and then also throughout the four corners, and all these other countries that have us throughout the four corners that have us and are destroying us and oppressing us. We're oppressed everywhere we go because the curses cleave to us as a proverb and a sign and wonder, to be able to know who the Israelites are in these last days, who had lost their identity and are awakening back into it, into our royalty in these last days, royalty. And so, let's go right here, verse 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. And we see in Psalms 137, the Edomites, they were chanting and cheering it on and celebrating, saying, race it to the foundation that even thereof. So they've always cheered for our demise. So why have they've always cheered for the demise of the 12 tribes, especially the tribe of Judah, which is their chief, because King David subdued the Edomites, right? With his chief war general Joab was over there slaughtering them and put garrisons over there in their land to keep them in check, right? Military bases in their land in the ancient times. And they celebrated when we got taken down by the Babylonians, and they still celebrate. So now why would America now, the Edomites, all of a sudden now have a great pact and union with the so-called Jews over there now, when that wasn't the case in the past. That show you that they're the same nation. It's one big remedial, retarded elementary game that they've and wool that they pulled over the eyes of the people. We get Isaiah 47, going back to Isaiah 47, verses 13 through 15. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. They're very stressed out. They got their Hubble telescope that lets them see deep into space, right? And they try to, spy out there and see what's coming because they know that the return of Yahushua is imminent, and that's a part of that's one of their instruments they're using to gauge the times and see what's going on out there. And they're wearied and they see the chariots, the so-called UFOs that's harassing them, righteously harassing them, That's the curse that Esau has upon him, Those chariots be terrifying Esau, and so they're wearied in their counsels because they're up day and night talking about, trying to order their steps and society to try to circumvent and overcome the biblical prophecies, but it won't happen. So they're very wearied and stressed out. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, you see that's that Hubble telescope, and they be seeing out of space and everything, and the NASA. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. See, they're not going to be able to do so, just like the ancient Chaldeans, in the Babylonian times, and just like the ancient Egyptians and his magicians. Nothing new under the sun. It's the same thing. Now the modern Egyptians and modern magicians and modern Babylonians and Chaldeans, the astrologers, is America and the so-called small, the small hats, the so-called the Ish people, and they won't be able to save themselves. Verse 14, behold, they shall be as stubble. And what stubble? That's the end result of fire, burning and consuming. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. See, the Most High is not going. The elect will be delivered from that power of the flame, like Daniel and the three holy children. Meshach, Abednego. I forget. Shadrach. I don't know. I forget. And Lord forgive me. I got to remember all those brothers' names. See, they shall not. We got delivered. Well, they got delivered from the flame, but Esau, he will not be. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before. Going to be thoroughly wiped out. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. And that's, they send gifts one to another, send wine, give a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine, and they celebrate, send gifts one to another in Revelation chapter 11, and that's the heathen, that's the United Nations. All the nations conspire against the Israelites. And, all of their made all of their money with America, the whore, that sits upon all the waters of the earth, all the nations of the earth. Even thy merchants from thy youth, since they were in the inception of America until now. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So, you see, there's no honor amongst thieves. They're not going to help or save America from their destruction. They're going to see it and they're going to flee, and they're not going to help them, right? And even their allies are going to turn on them and burn the whore with fire, and that's NATO and EU. So today is so-called July 4th, 2026, the 250th year anniversary of the whore America, Babylon the Great. And this is the end, and it's they're celebrating, and they don't even understand they're celebrating the very near demise and destruction of a fulfillment of biblical prophecy of the time and times and the dividing of the times, 250 years. And it's a very short time, it's been a very short reign, and it's about to come to an end. Thus said the Most High Power, Yahweh, thus said the Holy Bible. So hope this video is edifying. The waters of Hakodash Bashem. Yahweh Shai have another video. So next video I say, Shalom.